Hi, it's Brian from Bluegrass Exotics, and today we're going to have a look at the 7th clutch from our 2020 season. The pairing here was a pastel clown male to a super pastel het clown female. Let's have a look at what we're working with. Alright, this is the male. This is a pastel clown. He came from Constriction Addiction, and I waited a long time to pick the right clown for my clown project, and when this guy popped up on Morph Market, I knew right away this guy was it. He looks different from all the rest of the pastel clowns I had seen, and it looked like he had something special in him. So what I really like about him is how thick and how bold his dorsal stripe is, and it's completely unbroken all the way through his body. So clearly pastel clown. Looked to me like he might have something else in him. He was labeled just as a regular pastel clown. He was a little bit more money than some of the other pastel clowns available, but I had to have this guy. So I reached out to Constriction Addiction, paid the money, got him shipped, and then when he showed up, I had a better look at him in person, and I figured, okay, I've already bought the animal. Maybe I can start to have a conversation about what else might be in him. So I reached out to Daniel at Constriction Addiction, and whoa, come on, buddy. We both kind of agree that there might be something else going on with this snake. He was not able to tell me exactly what that might be. He told me that there was leopard in the pairing that produced this snake, but neither of us believe this snake has leopard. So there may or may not be something else with him. It might be vanilla, might be fire, might be yellow belly, might be something else. So I bought this animal several years ago. I'll see if I can find a way to put his original Morph Market picture up on screen for you to see what he looked like as a baby. Since I have bought him in subsequent years, Daniel has produced several snakes that look almost exactly like this guy did when he was young, and he is now labeling those as yellow belly pastel clowns. That doesn't mean that there is yellow belly in this animal. I don't know if there is or if there isn't. I don't know if I'd be able to see it or not. But there is something that stands out to me about how bold and unbroken and beautiful this guy's dorsal is. So, as far as I know, this guy is pastel clown, and I'm not going to be looking for other genes in this clutch. So I have a lot of faith that there's something special about this animal, but I'm not going to be considering that in the clutch analysis. So for the purpose of this video, this is a pastel clown male. Man, he's pretty though. The mother for this clutch is a super pastel het clown, and she just ate recently. I don't feel like pulling her out. She looks like a super pastel. There's really nothing special to see in her. But given that father is visual clown and the mother is super pastel, the very worst we could do in this clutch is pastel het clown. So all of the babies are, at bare minimum, pastel het clown. So the first baby that I want to pull out is a super pastel het clown. And as these videos normally go, a lot of times myself and other people will kind of start at the worst and work toward the best, and that's what's happening here. So the worst we could have done is a pastel het clown. The worst we actually did do was a reproduction of mother. This is a super pastel het clown. Beautiful animal, very busy pattern. The blushing on the head is nearly full, nearly complete. The blushing through the dorsal is blushed all the way to white in multiple spots. Has retained a little bit of gold down through the sides here, but mostly this is just a really nice looking, pretty busy pattern super pastel het clown. I believe this is a female. I haven't sexed all of these. I think I've sexed a couple. I certainly didn't write it down. I'll do a better job later. But for right now, this is super pastel het clown. The female for this clutch was a first-time breeder for us. She was purchased as a het clown. Sometimes when you purchase clowns, you always question a little bit, but I didn't have much concern that she was not going to prove out, and she did happen to prove out. So she is 100% het clown now. Like I said, I bought her as a 100% het clown, had no reason to suspect otherwise, but it's always nice when they do prove out, and she proved out. This clutch was 6 eggs. The one I just showed you was the only non-visual clown we hit. So we hit 5 of 6 visual clowns in a clown to het clown pairing, which is really good odds. It's hard to be mad at that. So what we have here are 2 pastel het clowns. Really happy with these. One of the things that I noticed was that on these, and we'll see the rest of the babies shortly, the really thick, bold dorsal stripe from the father did not come through in the babies. So this is a really nice pastel clown. You can see, the color on the sides, really nice. There's some blushing through the dorsal, really nice. That is definitely a pastel clown head. Really nice animal. But this dorsal looks a lot more what I would call normal or typical for the pastel clown dorsal pattern. It's thin, it's largely unbroken, but it just does not stand out nearly as well as the one from the father. And I would say that this snake has the nicest, most thick, bold dorsal of the whole clutch. And even this one doesn't hold a candle to the dorsal that the sire has. So, if we have a look at this one, you'll see this one is also a pastel clown. Largely the same coloration, still the same blushing through the dorsal, same nice head. This one has a little more broken of a dorsal. So still a really nice animal. This looks pretty typical for pastel clown to me, but did not get the dorsal stripe that the father has. So unfortunate, but that's something I'll see if I can work out a little bit later. Let's have a look at the rest of them. So again, the pairing was pastel clown to super pastel het clown. And I told you there were 6 eggs, and I just showed you a couple pastel clowns. So for those of you keeping track, you'll know that the 3 babies we have left are killer clowns. These are super pastel clowns, and I am ecstatic that we hit 3 of these guys. These are beautiful snakes. So a long time ago, these were one of my dream snakes to make. I love the look of the gray, the silver against the yellow. When these guys hatch out, they are, this is beautiful coloration to me. This is a yellow and silver snake, and I love it. I love the way that the dorsal gets all the way blushed out to this nice silver color. I think it's beautiful. So all 3 of these are clearly visual clown. But again, none of them have the dorsal that the father does. So I'm not sure what is in the father that made that dorsal stripe so bold and so dark, but it so far has not come through in the babies. So maybe it's a fluke, maybe it's just a really nice phenotype of him, maybe there's nothing to it at all. Maybe I'll have to try a little harder, I'm not sure. But so far, all of the clown babies that he's produced, and even the het clowns from a different mother, did not really look spectacular or look like there was a whole lot extra in there. So I'm sorry I keep reaching in front of the camera to wrangle these guys. They're getting a little squirrely. But these are beautiful, beautiful animals. Great examples of a super pastel clown. Again, the dorsal is a little broken, but that's not uncommon. The dorsal is a little thin, but again, that's not uncommon. It just certainly is not what I was expecting from the father, or at least I was hoping. I won't say I wasn't expecting this, because this was really the only thing to be expected. But I was certainly hoping that the father was going to produce some dorsal stripes a little closer to his. But beautiful babies, beautiful animals. We're thrilled with the odds that we hit. The babies are just really happy about these. So I think I'm probably going to hold back one of the single gene pastel, one of the single gene pastel clowns from this clutch. I don't know that it serves me really well to hold back one of the killer clowns. Probably I'll hold back one of the killer clowns just because I love them and I want one in my collection, and I'm thrilled to have hatched some and I want one. So there's a good chance I'm going to keep one, even though I think it might serve my long-term clown goals a little bit better to keep a single gene. So having a killer clown in your breeding project is a blessing and a curse. It's a blessing because when paired to a clown, the very worst you can do is pastel clown, and everybody loves pastel clown. The curse of it, though, is you can only produce pastel clowns. And I would like to eventually get into some of the darker clown morphs. I'd like to get into black pastel clown, might be interested in getting into some blackhead clown. There's a lot of darker genes that I think work really well with clown, and I don't know that I really want pastel 100% guaranteed to be baked in all of my future clown combos. So I've, until this clutch grows up, I've got a couple other clown things that I'm growing up, but by and large my collection is, in my opinion, too heavy on pastel in clown for me to really take some of the darker morphs or some of the more orange morphs super far. So for anybody that wants to get into pastel clown or get into clown in general and knows that pastel clowns are beautiful, hold their value, end up being, great to have in your collection, these are phenomenal animals to have. But given what we already have in this collection here, I don't know that a super pastel clown is really what we want to hold going back. So again, probably I'll keep one for sentimental values, and they're beautiful and I just want one, and I want to look at it every day and be amazed and think back at all the work that it took to, kind of get here. But also I'm certainly not going to hold on to all three of these. So this is clutch number 7 from our 2020 season. Fantastic odds. I'm super happy with the animals. Again, I had no reason to believe that the female wouldn't prove, but it's always nice when they do. Just really happy, and thanks for watching, guys.